All right, guys, you've made it to baby step number 6, the curriculum. So let's talk about our curriculum. How do you select your curriculum? Remember, we talked about in baby step number 1, the why. Why are we homeschooling, right? What's the purpose? What do we want to accomplish? What's our vision? How does our child learn? We talked about that in one of the baby steps. Is your child a hands-on learner? Does your child do they need manipulatives? Are they more visual? How do they learn? Right? And you also want to consider your schedule. How long do you have to teach? How many days do you, oh, I'm sorry, not do you, how many days are you teaching? Are you year round? Are you going to complete a particular subject every single quarter or semester or throughout the year? Or are you teaching that subject for maybe half a year or maybe a quarter? That information is necessary in order for you to determine what curriculum to use, right? Please, guys, don't get super excited about all these YouTube videos that you may have already watched or will watch about curriculum hauls, because what works for one may not work for all, right? What works for my son may not work for your child, and what works for your child may not work for mine. Some curriculums are open and go. You open it, it tells you how to teach it, when to teach it, how long to teach it, and you're good to go. That may work for you. That may work for your child, and it may not for others. Some curriculum may give you a foundation. They may tell you, here are the topics, consider breaking it down this way. And they may not tell you exactly what to say. Some people may like that, some people may not. And then you have some curriculum that won't give you anything. They'll just give you the book with the lessons and information, and you do what you please. Again, you have to kind of figure out what works best for you. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what works best for me and my household. You do not have to do it this way. You do not have to utilize this same curriculum, because you may have used it before and said, oh my goodness, this is too much or maybe too little. This is not for us. And some of what I may show you, you may currently be using or you may be considering. So again, just sit back and think about your vision for your homeschool, your purpose. Think about how many days you're deciding to homeschool, and think about if you want something that's grab and go, or if you want to infuse a little or a lot of creativity. Something else you want to consider when deciding what curriculum you want to use is what type of homeschool do you have? Are you traditional? Are you an unschooler? Are you like a hodgepodge of different things? You want to consider that as well, because if you're an unschooler, you may not want a lot or any curriculum. If you are traditional, you may want a curriculum for every single subject. And if you're a hodgepodge, you may want a little bit of everything. If you are Charlotte Mason, you may want literature-based curriculum. If you're interest-led or project-oriented, you may want curriculum and resources put together. Are you a notebooking type of family or person? Do you want to teach through unit studies or lap booking or interactive notebooks? All these concepts you can Google and search to find the answers to, in order to further understand what those concepts mean. But this video is to basically help you choose the right curriculum for you. I may not include everything you want to know within this video, but hey, that's what Google is for. That's what YouTube is for. If I'm missing anything in this video, please feel free to go out and look at other videos or resources to fill in with whatever gaps that I did not provide you in this video. So let's go ahead and let's look at what I'm using and why. Here's the science that we're using, and this is Baron Builder's Science in the Beginning. You look through your table of contents and you'll decide, or you'll see how many lessons there are. So in this book, we have several chapters. We've completed. It looks like we have 90 chapters here, okay? After looking through the chapters, I figure, okay, we can go ahead and complete lessons 1 through 15. We're going to complete lessons 16 through 30. We're going to go ahead and do lessons 31 through 45, 46 through 60. And what I want to do after lesson 60, I want to go ahead and do a unit study for astronomy. As you can see, that's what these topics are about. But I want to dive in a little deeper, and I want to focus on astronomy. So we'll go ahead and do that. Something else I want to do, which is not a part of any of these other lessons here, is I know I want to hit on the basic human body systems. So what I've decided is we're going to do lessons 1 through 60. We're going to do a unit study on astronomy, focus here. And we're going to do a unit study for about a quarter, which is sometimes 3.5, 4 months on the human body system. So what I'll do on the cover, I know this book has 90 lessons. I estimate 30 to maybe 40 minutes with the experiments. It'll take 30 to 40 minutes to complete. But like I said, we're only going to do 60 of those lessons. So I'll go ahead and mark that. So I went ahead and wrote that out for this book. And then we're going to move on to our African history book. Looking through the table of contents here, we can see that there are 16 units and there are about 57 chapters. After reviewing all of the table of contents, I said to myself, okay, I do want to complete all of these units or lessons within the 2018-2019 school year. And based on how fast or how slow we go, we may continue some of these lessons in future years. So here I wrote down it has about 57 chapters or lessons, and it'll take me about 20 to 30 minutes to complete each lesson. Now keep in mind, guys, like I said earlier, I may not read every single word within the chapter. So as I'm teaching, or if I have time, I'll do it beforehand. I'll read the lesson before. And I will pick out the main points that I want to talk about. And then we'll go ahead and we'll discuss that. I'll determine if we want to do some type of hands-on project or a lap book based on what we're learning, if I want to ask some of the comprehension questions and so forth, okay? So the chapters may seem short or they may seem a bit long, but again, because I don't read every single sentence word for word, it takes us a little bit shorter time to complete the lesson, and then we do something hands-on. Same with the science. These Barron Builders and Apologia books are pretty long. The chapters are long. Some of them are long. So this chapter 1 is pretty short, and it comes with an experiment. So we can do that in 30, 40 minutes. And I do ask the questions, and I ask him to do the first part for older students. And depending on the topic, we'll do the project or the question for the oldest students. Okay, this is lesson 2. Lesson 3. So they're pretty short, okay? But if I find that we can pull something out to do a unit study, I will do that. And as you noticed, we did for astronomy. We're going to do a unit study. And I think I found something else that I want to do looking through this book here. Lessons 16 through 30. So here it talks about like air pressure and wind and temperature. I think I'm going to pull out a unit study and do extreme weather. And this is where maybe we can sit for 2 or 3 weeks and we can do a unit study on hurricanes and tornadoes and floods and droughts and volcanoes and flooding and things of that nature. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that too. So let me just go ahead and notate here that we also want to do extreme weather. So I'll go ahead and pull out resources for that. So I go through this process for every single one of the curriculums that we're going to use throughout our homeschooling year. I am going to link a video below that talks about what our curriculum choices are for the year. I think also earlier in my video I said I would go through that, but instead of regurgitating what we already have a video for, I'll just go ahead and link that video below, and you can kind of see all of our curriculum choices and why we chose those particular resources to use. The curriculum. So as you can see here in the Shirley method, there are 20 something odd chapters, 31. There are 32 chapters. Within each chapter, they have individual lessons. So what I did was I totaled all the lessons for every single chapter, and it totaled 128. I went through or perused every single one of those lessons, and a lot of them were repetitive. And some of them I was not going to teach because it was part of, let's say, my writing resources or my writing curriculum. And I didn't want to use this curriculum to teach those things, those topics. So it came down to 112. So once I took those things out, I said I had 112 chapters, and 112 lessons. There are 32 chapters, and it recommends teaching 4 lessons a week. I decided to combine some of those as well. I also wrote a little note for myself that said these chapters, chapter 29 through 32, are focused on report and research. And I'm going to go ahead and do that in 2019. And in 2019, I'm going to take the lessons associated with chapter 29 through 32, which is a total of 16 lessons. I'm going to take that information and we're going to move it to our 2019 lesson planning calendar. And can you give me a pencil really quick, please? Give me a pencil. Just give me a pencil really quick.
After this,
give me a pencil really quick. I'm recording, so give me a pencil really quick.
No.
Which means don't say anything. Let me finish this really quick. Thanks. So on here, I would say that it will take me about 30 minutes. And sometimes it can take about 40 minutes. So the book, when I went through the curriculum, the book said it may take 45 minutes to an hour. But that's if you read every single thing. I don't read every single thing in these curriculums. I jump around, I skip ahead, I highlight the things that are most important for me to teach. Okay, so I'm giving you an example of what I mean by that. So in chapter 2, lesson 1, I want to focus on this area here. I want to do this activity. I want to focus on this grammar time area. I want to do this. I want to focus on here. I want to do this. I don't want to forget to do some modeling and some more examples. I want to do this activity. I want to focus on making sure he understands this area here. And I want to go over these examples. So as you can see, I did not check every single area. I did not check writing. I did not check vocabulary. I did not check going over the Shirley method jingles. I didn't check every single area within chapter 2, which has 5 lessons. So when I condensed what I'm actually doing, I figured instead of taking 5 days a week to do it, I would break it down into my instructional period of time. In my instruction period of time, I may teach this about 2 times, maybe 3 times per week. So bringing everything down to 3 times a week, maybe 30, 40 minutes each time, and assigning him independent work, we should be able to get through a chapter within 1 week. So that's one example. Let me give you another one. So here's another example. So for this Saxon 7-6 math book, we would first look at the table of contents just to see how many chapters there are. There are 138 chapters. Why did you just do that? I'm recording.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to get it done. Don't worry. Don't let the number distract you, okay? So there are 138 chapters within this book. After going through all of the table of contents, I decided we're going to do the majority of the chapters. However, we're going to skip through the first 6 lessons. Lesson 1 through 6, we're going to go ahead and skip over because we've done so much of that already, and we do math facts, and we will just start with lesson 7. So there's 138 chapters, but like I said, we're going to skip chapters 1 through 7. So technically this 138 should be 131. And I figured it'll take me 30 minutes to instruct. And for my son, it'll probably take him 45 minutes to do each lesson independently. And I just go down and I do this process for every single one of our curriculums.